Rasmalai is a classic Indian dessert made with spongy milk curd discs soaked in sweet thickened milk. Hi, and you're watching Plating It with Wendy, where I share with you recipes which impress with ease. If you enjoy this video, don't forget to give it a like, share, and comment. And if you enjoy trying out recipes that turn out right every time, then go ahead, press that subscribe button. And while you're at it, if you hit the bell icon, you'll be the first to get notified every time I upload a new video. Now, let's get started. Now here's a tip. Before boiling the milk, you're just going to put in a few drops of water on the base of the pot and give it a swirl. Try to coat the bottom of the pot with it. This is going to prevent the milk from burning when it's boiling. To make the rasmalai, we're going to go in with 1.5 liters of milk. And you want to use a low-fat milk for making the rasmalai. So now if you're making it in India, you'll be using toned milk. And if you're in any other part of the world, a 2% milk is the best to go with. And now on a medium heat, we're going to warm the milk till it comes to a boil. The milk has come to a boil. So now we're going to switch off the stove and take it off the heat. Now to make the milk curd, we need to curdle the milk. But before we do that, we need to lower the temperature of the milk. Because we are looking to get the milk to a temperature of 185 degrees Fahrenheit or 85 degrees Celsius. To curdle the milk, I'm going to go in with white vinegar, and I've got 4 tablespoons of white vinegar in that. Or you could go in with 4 tablespoons of lemon juice. But make sure that you strain the lemon juice so that you do not get any seeds or any of the juice sacs into the milk. And to dilute the vinegar so that the milk doesn't get too much of a shock, we're going to add 4 tablespoons of water to it. And we're just going to give it a quick whisk. And now we're going to introduce it into the milk in 2 additions. Just going to give it a stir. And now we're going to add in the rest and give it another stir. And now we're going to let it sit for a bit so that the vinegar does its magic. If you let it sit without stirring it, you're going to get bigger pieces of milk curd, which gives you softer rasmalai. To separate the milk curd from the whey, we're going to pass it through a sieve. And I've got a sieve here, which I've placed on a bowl. And I've placed a cheesecloth or a muslin cloth inside the sieve, so that we can extract all the whey. We're going to pour the curdled milk into the sieve. Now the whey that is down, you can always bottle it and keep it in the refrigerator and use it to make rotis. You're going to get super soft rotis with it. We're just going to pour some cold tap water into this so that we wash out any of the vinegar flavor that the milk curd might have. Just going to lift it up a bit and give the water a chance to drain down. Can you see that beautiful milk curd that we've got? Now this is what you call cottage cheese. And if you drain out all the water and stiffen it up, you're going to get paneer. We want the milk curd with just a little moisture in it. So we're going to lift up the cheesecloth. And we're going to start turning it around so we get most of the whey coming out. You don't want it too dry and you don't want too much of the whey in it at the same time. Just a little moisture is good. So we're going to keep squeezing it till we don't have any drip coming down. With Holi just around the corner, this is an excellent sweet to make at home. Now we have just drops falling down and we're just going to wait for about a minute or 2. The water has stopped dripping, so what I like to do is place it in a clean kitchen towel and then just wrap it up so that the excess water will get absorbed by the kitchen towel. We're going to leave this on the counter to do its thing while we go back to the stove and make the rabdi. To make the rabdi, we're going to be using 1 liter of milk. And once again, I put a little water at the base of the pot. Just going to add the milk in. And we're going to allow the milk to come to a boil on a medium heat. The milk has come to a boil, so we're going to lower the heat and give it a stir. And we're going to flavor the milk with a few strands of saffron. And for a traditional touch, we're going to go in with some nuts, and I'm adding 2 tablespoons of slivered almonds and 2 tablespoons of slivered pistachios. And to flavor the milk, we're going to add half a teaspoon of green cardamom powder. And now we're going to allow this to cook while we stir it till the nuts turn soft and the milk gets flavored with the saffron and the cardamom powder. It's been about 5 minutes and the milk has started coming to a second boil. So now we're going to add in some sugar to sweeten it up. And we're going to go in with 1/4 cup and 1 tablespoon of sugar. And I always like to add some salt to bring out all the flavors, and I'm going in with 2 pinches of salt. To get that authentic Rasmalai color, we're going to add some yellow food color, and I'm going in with the gel food color, so I'm just going to add just a dot. I'm using a spoon here because I don't want any excess color falling into the milk. We're going to give it a stir, and now you'll find that the milk will start thinning out a bit because the sugar has started melting. When making the rabdi, make sure you do not thicken the milk too much, because then the Rasmalai will not be able to absorb it. I'm just going to scrape out all that cream that I can from the sides and add it in because it's going to add to the taste. And now it's time to switch off the stove. We're going to keep this aside to cool while we go back and shape the milk curd. The milk curd has been resting for about 30 minutes. Now we're going to open it up and start forming the Rasmalai. Just going to take it out. And there, see how perfectly all the whey has come out, and we've got a beautiful milk curd. What we need to do now is to smoothen out this milk curd. So we're just going to break it up first. And now using our best kitchen tool, which is our hand, we're going to use the ball of our hand to smoothen this out. So we're just going to go and start pressing it down. And we're going to do this for about 5 minutes or so till it all becomes smooth. After doing it once, if you feel that you haven't got all the lumps out, you can go ahead and just do it another time. And I'm going to go in for a second round. And once again, we go. It's important to take out all the lumps from the milk curd so that you get smooth, spongy Rasmalai. And this is what we're talking about. You want it to come nice and smooth like this. To dry up any excessive moisture in the milk curd, we're going to add in 1.5 teaspoons of cornstarch, and we're just going to lightly mix it in. And here you go, we have our beautiful milk curd all ready to be shaped. Just rolling it up into a log, and now we're going to cut this up into 12 pieces. And now we're going to cut it into the center and make it into 2 halves. And now we're going to make each half into half again and cut each of these pieces into 3. And the same thing we do out this side. If you wanted, you could even use a spoon as a measure. Now to form the Rasmalais, we're going to take one of the pieces and just roll it in the palm of our hands, putting a little pressure, making sure we take out any cracks that there may be. And once we find that we have a nice smooth surface, we're going to press it down and flatten it out. And this is what you're looking for. And now we're going to go in and shape the second one. Just rolling it once again with a little pressure so we take out any of the cracks. And once you find that the cracks have disappeared, press it down and flatten it out. And there you have the second Rasmalai all shaped. We've finished shaping all the Rasmalai. We're going to cover it with a damp cheesecloth and go over to the stove and prepare the sugar syrup to cook them in. To a deep wide pot, we're going to add 1 cup of sugar, and to that we're going to add 7 cups of water. My grain of sugar was very fine, so I went in with 7 cups of water. But if the grain of sugar you're using is thicker, you could go in with 6 cups of water. To flavor the water, we're going to add 4 green cardamoms, and I like to add in 2 tablespoons of rose water. This gives that lovely flavor to the Rasmalai. Now we're going to keep this on a medium-high heat, stirring it occasionally till the sugar melts, and then we're going to wait till it comes to a rolling boil. Our sugar syrup has come to a rolling boil, and we'll have our heat on high. Now we're going to take off the green cardamoms because their job here is done. And now we're going to start adding in the Rasmalai. Make sure to have your heat on high. And we're quickly going to put them in. Now we're going to cover it up and allow it to cook on high for 5 minutes. It's been 5 minutes since they're cooking on a high heat. Now we're going to lower the heat to medium-high and allow it to cook for another 5 minutes. In total, we're going to cook it for 15 minutes. Just going to open the lid and get the inside a little swirl so that they move around. Now it's been 5 minutes, so we're going to take off the lid and we're going to increase the heat to high. And now we're going to start flipping the Rasmalai one by one so that they cook on the other side as well. Try and be as gentle as you can because you don't want to break them up. We're increasing the heat to high because we've got to have these bubbles coming to the surface. It's key to getting nice soft rasmalai. Now 5 minutes is up since it's been cooking with the lid off on a high heat, and we've cooked it for a total of 15 minutes. And now we're going to take it off the heat and allow the rasmalai to cool in the sugar syrup till it comes to room temperature. And now to the most exciting part. The rasmalai has all cooled in the sugar syrup, and I warmed up the milk just a little bit, and I'm going to pour it into a bowl. I want to show you how soft these have become. Just see these, they're so soft. And if you squeeze it, you'll see how much of the sugar syrup is coming out. And when you put it back down, it's going to absorb the sugar syrup and get its shape back. We're going to pick up the rasmalai from the sugar syrup, and we're going to squeeze out as much as sugar syrup as we can. And now we're going to dunk this into the rabdi. And there we go. Let's do another one. So just going to press out all the sugar syrup, and we want to get out the maximum amount of sugar syrup from them so that when we place them in the rabdi, they absorb the rabdi. Our rasmalai is all ready, but this is the most difficult part. We're going to cover it up and leave it on our counter for about 4 to 5 hours so that the rabdi gets a chance to get absorbed, and then we're going to place it in the refrigerator for at least 2 hours before we serve it and enjoy it, because it tastes best when it's chilled. Rasmalai is best plated in a flat dish, and we're going to place them side by side. Now these are looking so tempting. I can't wait to give them a taste. And now we're going to top them with some of that rabdi that we made. And we're going to top it with a few strands of saffron. And to do an individual plating, we're first going to put some rabdi at the bottom. I'm going to place one down here. And you can add some more rabdi in the bowl. And now I'm going to show you how well these have turned out. We give it a squeeze, and can you see all the rabdi is falling down. Now we place it back in. It'll absorb it all back and come back to shape. Wow, can you see the rabdi has got absorbed through and through into the disc. These have turned out just perfect. The waiting is over. It's time to give the rasmalai a taste. I'm so excited. Wow, I just love Indian sweets. Just going to go in for that. Oh my God, these are so soft and they're full of the rabdi. They just melt in your mouth. And if you want to enjoy these as much as I do, hop onto my website, platingitwithwendy.com, where you will find the full written recipe. Thanks for watching. See you soon.